welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of The Shift. If you haven't been a part of our episodes previously, just run over to the YouTube channel and check out the first 4 episodes. But basically, the bare nuts of this is that we are talking about a shift from one platform to another. You may be an educator moving from a district to another district where you used to use Google and now you use Microsoft, or you used to use Microsoft and now you're using Google, and you want to know where to get started or where the similarities begin and where they end and where you need to find these different things. So that's what we're going to do today. And today we're going to be focusing on the word processor. And you know, I know that's an old term, but it's basically just a document creator in Microsoft and Google. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. So my name is Joe Marquez. I am the Director of Academic Innovation for Q. And as always, my partner in innovation, Tyler, who, by the way, is coming from the premier innovation campus of Idaho, Sherman Elementary. So Tyler, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, Joe, you know, we did just get the internet up here in Idaho. So, you know, we're kind of leading the way. But no, my name is Tyler Keefe. I am the instructional and technology integration coach up here at Sherman Elementary School, up here in Nampa, Idaho, home of the Gators. And I put our hashtag there on my name there just for kicks and giggles for this week. But it really is great to be a Gator, and I'm excited to talk to you about, yes, word processing. As boring as that has been in recent years, there's actually some kind of cool things we can do with this now. And then lastly, your 49ers snuck into the playoffs. So I'm sure you're excited about that.
Well, you know, this is playing after the weekend of the playoffs. So hopefully they're still in it. Yeah, everybody, we're recording this before the premiere on Monday. So that's when you're watching this Monday. So I'm saying the 49ers won. Yeah, they beat those Cowboys. All right. That's
was that before or after he turned the Xbox off?
You know, I don't know. That's the big decision, right? That's it. You know, and I want everybody to know as well, Tyler, you are a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, and your school is a really great user of Apple products. So, and you're at the elementary section. So anybody who is watching, if you are looking for ideas on multimedia, on STEM, on Microsoft in the elementary setting, the younger kids all the way through 6th grade, definitely take a look at Tyler's handle there on Twitter. Reach out to him because they're doing some amazing things over there at Sherman Elementary. All right, everybody. As you know, we traditionally have Tyler go first to talk about some Microsoft stuff. But after we record and we debrief, Tyler's like, oh, you know what? I forgot to show this and I forgot to show that. So to be fair, I'm going to show the Google stuff first on their word processor. So Tyler can have ideas of, oh, I want to show this, I want to show that. So I'm going first this time so that he has that time to take notes and to really showcase some of the Microsoft tools for their word processor. So let's go ahead and take a look at our word processor that we're going to be talking about today, and that is Google Docs. Google Docs, Google Documents, is the word processor tool for Google. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can get there. One is by, again, clicking on the waffle. We call this endearing icon here with the 9 dots all around here. We call that the waffle. You're going to click on that and you're going to select Google Drive, and that will take you into your Google Drive. Once you're in your Google Drive, you're going to select New and Google Docs. You can just click right here if you want, or you can select this little over arrow to keep going with the blank document. If you just click Google Docs here, that's going to open a blank document. If you want to create it from a template of already pre-made templates, you're going to click from template right here. Now, if you know you're going to select templates, let me show you a faster, quicker way to get into a Google Docs. So again, you're going to click on your waffle, and you're just going to select Google Docs right here. When you select Google Docs right here, you can start a new blank template, or you can select the template gallery here. Now, the template gallery, all of these things here are pre-made templates made by the Googlers that you can use straight from the get-go. It does have like the Latin text so that you can just go in and rewrite over it, but it has the templates ready to go for you. One cool, neat feature here is in your school site, you can upload templates made specifically for your school site. So, for example, if you are an Avid district, Avid is a great college preparedness organization, nonprofit out of San Diego, California, and they love to use Cornell Notes. And they started using digital Cornell Notes. So I've uploaded Avid digital Cornell Notes ready to go. So any teacher can click on that template, boom, and open it up, and now they can use it and push it out to their students if they wanted to. So I just wanted to show that to you because a lot of people forget that Google has pre-made templates. There is one more way to open up a brand new Google Doc, and that is by coming over here to the Omni box, or a lot of people call it the search bar, and you could type in docs.new and hit enter, and it will automatically create and open up a brand new, ready to go Google Doc for you to work off of. So those are the three ways to create a Google document. But all of those will automatically be saved right here into your Google Drive that we talked about last week. They will not save anywhere else but your Google Drive. And from the document, you can star this item. And again, we talked about this last time. If you star a document, it appears underneath your starred document. So it's easy and quickly available for you right there. You can even move it to a different folder to organize it in your Google Drive. Or in your Google Drive, you can then right-click on it and move it to a different location. So a lot of different ways that you can create and then organize your documents here. The number one thing you're going to want to do is title your document. You don't want thousands of documents called untitled document in your Google Drive. So I'm just going to title this new playground, or actually new sandbox, because, you know, we're going to get dirty here. So new sandbox. And so now I have this document placed in my Google Drive. Up here, you have your basic toolbar ribbon, right? Different ways that you can change the size of the document, change the style of text and font of the text and size of the text, and, you know, bolding and italicizing and all those things, and right adjustment, left adjustment, all those things are going to be up here. That's what are going to be up here. And then up here are different things you can do. Like if you want to insert a table or a chart, you can grab a chart from your Google Sheets, which we're going to talk about shortly. And those charts will automatically be updated if you are changing your data in your Google Sheets. A lot of cool things that can be done. You can change your formatting, and you can add tools. You have your citations button. You can do your word count here. All the things that you do and all the regular word processors are found right up here. But let's talk about some of the neat features that you can do from this Google document. One of them is the share button. So the great thing about working with a Word document in the cloud-based format is that you can share in real time with fellow contributors. So I'm going to click share right up here. This is where you're going to share with people or groups. So I'm going to share this with my department friend here, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is in my Google PLC. So I'm going to go ahead and click on him. I can message him, hey, let's work together. You don't have to. And then I'm going to hit send. And notice I'm making him an editor. You can make somebody an editor, a commenter, or just a viewer in this fashion. And it just so happens that I do have Mr. Freeman's Google account open and ready to go. And you can see that in his email, it says a document has been shared by Joe Marquez. So it's right there. Or in your Google Drive, you will see underneath shared with me, that a new document by Joe Marquez has been shared with you. A lot of different ways to be notified that a document has been shared with you. But notice when I as Morgan Freeman, click on this document, I can see right up here that Joe Marquez is in this document at the same time as myself. And if I go back to my document, I see that Mr. Freeman is in this document as well. And so if I'm typing, there we go. Then if I go back to Mr. Freeman's view right over here, I can see right here that Joe Marquez is the one that is typing it. And this is in real time, live. There is zero lag here, which is great. Now, what if we're working on this not in a synchronous format, but in asynchronous format? Well, what I can do is this. Here's Mr. Freeman. He can be like, you know what? This section of the document does not make sense. So he's going to highlight this. He's going to select add comment. He's going to hit plus. There's Joe Marquez. Hey, can you please revise this section? And I'm going to assign this to Joe Marquez, hit assign. And now I, as Joe Marquez, over here, will be notified that Mr. Freeman has asked me to do something. He's assigned it to me. I can come in and I can make the changes. And once it's done, I can mark this as done, saying, I've made the changes. Please come back and look at it. All of this is going to be easily accessed through your Gmail. You'll go and you'll see all the different comments that has been made to you. So that's pretty cool. Now, let's say that you're working with a lot of team members and somebody, let's say Gina Smith. Sorry if there's an actual Gina Smith out there. I'm just making up a name. Let's say you shared it with Gina Smith and Gina's like, yeah, I've been working on this document for a long time. I like it. I've seen it. You can actually click on view and see all the different people who have viewed it and when they've viewed it. And then you can even see their trends and the comment trends, who's left comments, who's replied to comments, and then who has it been shared with. Now, if you think that's a little bit big brother, if you're like, I don't want my team to know all that stuff, you can come into your activity dashboard and turn those off and hide your viewing and all that stuff. So you can definitely do all that if that's too big brother for you. Another cool thing here is as you're typing, this document was created by, and then you can do the @ symbol here and tag Mr. Freeman, and then all of his communication tools will be there for him. You can email him directly, instant message him through Messenger. You can give him a Google video call really quick. You can do all these things right here. You can even add other documents that this gentleman has been working on. So I can say, Mr. Freeman created a document called Weekly Grade Check, which I think is a great starting point. You can hover over that and you can actually see that document. You can even open up that document. You can make a copy of that document. All these things can be done embedded right in here. This is different than a hyperlink. This is actually a link that you can interact with and save and do all these different things within here. And then, yes, if you wanted to, you could come in here, highlight, and then you can also add different hyperlinks. But notice if I hover over the hyperlink, I don't get the same interaction as if I actually embed the document itself. So that's the difference between doing an adding document and then a hyperlink adding links to the document. Actually, you can if you double click instead of just hovering. You can see all those things.
Hey, Joe, can I ask you a question with this really quick?
Absolutely.
So this here is something that I have heard of, but I've never seen. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen this in use. And honestly, being in the classroom, I could see that actually being very powerful, especially with the teacher student. My question to you, because I know you're in Docs right now, do those same features apply when you're in Google Slides or their spreadsheet application?
Yes, absolutely. So all of these documents now are intertwined with one another. So, like if I hover over this and I look at this document, I can click to view it. But if I inserted a Google, if I inserted a Google Slide document, I can look at my files. It would actually be able to have me like kind of scroll through it and kind of preview what's on that Google document. And like I said before, you can also insert charts from spreadsheets, Google Sheets, and that chart can be embedded here. And then when you change the Google Sheet, any data in the Google Sheet will automatically update the chart that's embedded into your Google Docs. So all of these things are being intertwined with one another.
And so with the like when you hit the plus and then you started typing a name, or the way where you embedded those documents, are you able to embed a document like on slides with using this exact same process?
It would embed like the link like this, but it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be one that you would be able to edit while in a slide. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. No, I appreciate you letting me interrupt there, because I'm sensing that people are going to have those same kind of questions. And if I'm having them from the Microsoft world, I could see somebody asking the same thing.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah. And definitely you can hyperlink, and then you can use this new add feature. They just added this about, I think, 6 months ago. So all that's intertwined as well. What I would love to see is when somebody assigns something to you, that it would automatically be added to your little task window, which we'll go through later in the features, but it just is added onto the document. So hopefully they intertwine tasks more when you assign something to somebody right there. Now, the last thing I want to show is a lot of people will say, wait a minute, you know, I'm used to the Microsoft Word, which you're going to go through. I'm used to the Microsoft Word application on my machine, which has so many features. And Google doesn't add all those features right away. If you want to add something onto this, add a capability, add a feature, you go to add-ons and you would select get add-ons right here and find the feature that you're looking to add. Maybe something similar to what's in a Microsoft Word. Most of these are free, but some of them do charge because they are third-party add-ons that are here. Like one of my favorite is a highlight tool that automatically will help you highlight, and then it'll collate all your highlights into an easy to read table. That's a really neat feature, but it's not built in to Google Docs. It's an add-on to Google Docs. So that's basically what I wanted to showcase. And somebody is going to ask, right? Because you're going to show that there is an on-device Microsoft Word and that there's an online Microsoft Word. People ask, well, what if I don't have internet? What if my students don't have internet? There is a way to make documents available offline. That means you can edit them offline. And then once you get back to a place that has online, all those edits will then be uploaded to the cloud. So you can work on documents offline. They just won't be able to be, you wouldn't be able to work with somebody who's also working on that same document who is online because you're offline. But you can work on a document offline by allowing that document to be available offline. So I just wanted to make sure that is right there. And then somebody also will probably say, well, can you download this? Yes, I can click download. I can download this as a Microsoft Word file, and then I can open it up with a Word document. I can save it as a PDF and as an EPUB as well. So lots of different ways that you can do it. This is where you would make this document available offline. There is no need to save anything because it auto saves every keystroke. Every keystroke, this is auto saved, and your entire history is saved. So let's say that you're sharing this with somebody and then you come back to it and like the most important parts are deleted. That's what's going to happen in your classroom when you have students working on a document collaboratively. Somebody's going to accidentally delete something. You can go back through the history and see every change and who made the change in that history all the way down. So it's an easy way as you, the teacher, to go back and view histories. For example, if somebody just copied and pasted from the internet, you'll see a giant a giant copy and paste right here instead of actual little by little of typing. So easy way for a teacher to go back through and just, check those kinds of things. But there's so much that we can do about Google Docs, but I just wanted to show features that a lot of teachers utilize on a daily basis and maybe some new things they had not seen yet. And the last thing, because I think you can do this in yours, if I'm on a team meeting or a Google Meet meeting, a virtual meeting, and I want to share a document with somebody in real time, I can just hit share and it will find the meeting that you're in and then automatically share that to the rest of the group so that you can all view the same document at the same time through your the platform that you're using, the Google Meet that you're using. So I wanted to share that as well because that was recently added in the last 6 months also. All right, I am done. I would love you, Tyler, now to showcase Microsoft Word and all the features that our members would be able to see.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Now, first thing I want to say, and if we got people from Microsoft or Google, vice versa, that are tuning in, some of those features are actually extremely impressive compared to what Google Docs was back when I was in college. I mean, that was a long time ago, but it was around. And that last thing you just showed, being able to show that document in part of a Google call, or whatever it's called there, is something that I do not think is in Microsoft with a simple button like that. We are able to share documents within like a Teams call, but it's a few step process, not just the one click. So that's actually a really, really cool feature there. But yeah, so I'm just going to dive into Word really quickly here. It's not going to be as in depth as Joe did. And Joe, one idea that I have for a future episode, if you don't mind, and if people want to see something like this, leave it in the comments, send us a direct message. But if it's something that you do in Google that you're wondering if it can be done in Microsoft, like, hey, can you do this? And then you walk me through how to do it. And then we do it kind of side by side. Might be kind of cool to see that instead of having the two different parts of this video. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with, there we go. And so when you get into Office, it's very much like you did for Google. Here is our landing page, the home, and then over here we can click on the Word to open up a new Word document, or you could click the plus and then select a Word document from here. There is not like a hover over to get to a template or anything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and click on Word. And it'll open up in a new tab, and it's being a little slow. Remember, we just got the internet here up in Idaho, and it actually timed out on me, of course. So I'm going to try it this way. There we go. Why the other way didn't work, who knows? Maybe it's because I'm on a Mac doing a Microsoft thing, but it's in the web through Safari, not Edge. Who knows? So when this happens, we get the landing page for just Word. It's very similar to the landing page for Office. Along the top, we have some templates here. We can choose just blank, notes, and there's plenty more here. You can always go search more templates. Down here in the middle, we have recommended, and then all the documents, recent files, and so on. Now, you mentioned with mine how there is an online version. So right here is the online, but there is also the platform, the application version, the full on the computer version, however you want to call it. And it looks very, very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and actually share my full screen here and show you from that point on, as I close all my windows, there we go, that they are virtually the same. So on the right is the online version, and on the left is the platform version. And you can see that they are virtually the same. So if you're using this online, offline, you're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new blank document, and I'm going to go ahead and do the side-by-side with this. And there we go. There's the document there on the left. And the online version is just giving me fits today. So I'm going to focus on the full version right now. And along the top, we have your ribbon, all the same things that you mentioned, Joe, as far as what they do, how they do it, and everything like that. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with that part. But I do want to mention along the top here, we do have this share button right here. When I go ahead and hit the share, that is when it's going to ask you to name the document. That's going to be the first thing. So I do like on the Google Docs, the online version, how it does allow you to just click right up here to do it. On this one, it's not. I'm trying, it's not working. But I can change it right here and say, go Seahawks. And then it's going to ask you for the place. Now it's going to default to your OneDrive unless you change that, which I don't recommend changing it, but you go ahead and save it to your OneDrive. And then I would go ahead and click on save. Now this part kind of seems redundant because I have to do that in order to share it. If it's the online version, it does not do that, which I'll show in a second. We'll get that reloaded here. But now when I go back into the share, it brings up a whole different page where I can then type in the email address of who I want to share it with, and then I can just send it their way. Like you said on the other one, you are able to share it with anyone with the link, people within just your organization, and so on, and then click apply, and then boom, it goes. So on the online version here, really quick, I'm going to get back in and go back into the Word. And Joe, as this is loading, any questions that you might have right now?
Yes. So when you are sharing, if they do not select the OneDrive and they save to a folder on their machine, that means it will not be available online in the cloud, correct?
Correct. And you have to actually send it up to the cloud for that to work.
Gotcha.
And I am not sure why this one is not loading there.
And when you share with an individual from the Word doc, let's say you saved it to your cloud, so now it's available online, and then you share it with somebody in your department or school or what have you, if they're working on the cloud-based version and you're working on your computer-based version, are those changes and edits and collaborations being done in real time, or is there a lag at all?
Yes, so that's a great question. They do happen in real time. It used to be that if you're in an online version, you can't be on the application version at the same time and getting those syncs to go back and forth. However, now they do work pretty much in tandem, like right away. And it looks as if, and Joe, we might need to do some creative editing on this, but the online version is not working right now for me. So something is going on with our server. And so I'm going to have to go back and show that part later. And if it comes up, it comes up. But so far it is not, unfortunately. So we're just going to need to revisit that if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem. If we can look at some more of what's on the actual, the features that are on the actual word processor, Microsoft Word that's on your machine, like can you use the @ symbol at somebody on your machine and it goes to the cloud? Can you hyperlink there as well? Those kinds of things. Can that be done right off the on-prem application?
Yeah, no, for sure it can. And actually it can be done fairly easily on there. And I'm going to go ahead and capture the right window on here. And we're just going in real time, people. So we're, going with the flow here. And there we go. Are you able to see that window?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you can do all of those things that you were mentioning. If I go in, and what was the first thing that you had mentioned? I was messing with OBS as you were asking the questions.
Can you tag somebody in your department or on your team as you're working on there?
So right here, I did try to do the @Joe. That part does not work like it did on Google. However, I do believe that if I was sharing it with someone, and I can actually try to share it with you, it's J, and I don't think I have you in that address book. Nope. Man, I am just completely unprepared here, Joe. My apologies. But you can actually, when it's on there, you go into this comment tab, and you are able to add a comment and then tag the person with that, much like you did on the other one for Google. And let me see if I can. Let's see. I'm just going to highlight, and I'm going to add a comment with this. And then from there is where I'm able to do the @ and then tag somebody with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and tag myself and say 12s are better than 49ers, just for fun, and send it. And so right there, it does do the tag. It's sending me an email right now, and then we're good to go with that. From here, it did give me the @ mention or reply that I can do on here. But like I said, it's just not as intuitive as the Google Docs version of it was.
Yeah, and you know, it totally makes sense, right? Because the birth of Google Docs was entirely in the cloud, and the birth of Microsoft Word was always a application, right? And then so the transition between the two, you're always going to have your bumps in the road because you have your individuals who have worked with Microsoft Word for years, and so they are used to the on-prem and not used to sharing. They're used to titling it with version 1 and then emailing it out, and people make edits and send it back and making version 2. Do you find that to be still commonplace? Like, even though there's sharing, that people then attach a document to an email and say, can you please look this over? And then somebody will make comments and revisions and then attach that to the email and then send it over. Do you find that that's still commonplace when people are using the Microsoft products?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is annoying as all get out when I'm in a reply all thread and we're all sending one. I'm like, guys, just go in and hit share. But yeah, no, I hear you. And I was able to get it loaded, Joe. Now, this is what's going to be ironic about all of this. Okay. I had to open up a Chrome tab, and I was able to load this in Chrome, and we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen really quick again, one more time. And so now we finally have the two windows like I was showing. But you can see here's the online or the application, then here's the online. You can see that they are very, very similar. The ribbon up here is a little less complex. There's less things that you can do, but all the functionality is typically there. If it's not there, that's where you can just download it and work on it on your computer. In the online one, though, it does work. So if I click up here where it says Go Seahawks, if I click up there, I can go ahead and change this to just Go Hawks, and it changes it everywhere, which is cool. So it changes it on in the OneDrive, it changes it here, it changes it on the application version in actually real time, because it did change it right there as well.
And I love that you're doing this side by side, because you're showing that it is the same document, right? And that's what people really wanted to see is that is absolutely the case. And it makes sense that it wasn't working in Safari. And I'll tell you why it makes sense. Because Google, they use Chrome, and they have vast market share of the online space. And Microsoft saw that, and so their Edge browser is now based upon the Chromium.
That is true.
System. So all of their products are being based off of the Chromium web-based system. Safari is not. And so you're going to have more problems on Safari. And I'm glad you showed this, because if teachers are in a district similar to yours, where they are using Microsoft ecosystem, but Apple products, and they're having an issue where their students can't open something, that is a fix, is either use Edge instead or use Chrome. I want you to try something for me, Tyler.
Yeah, go ahead.
In your Chrome browser, can you open up a new tab and type and do this in real time so people can see it? can you type in word.new?
Word.new. Let me get there. There we go. Move my OBS down. So word.new. Oh, look at that.
There it goes. It works.
Boom. There's a new hack there. They call you what, the EdTech MacGyver for a reason.
EdTech MacGyver, right? I mean, so I tried this one day. I was like, well, if Google is docs.new, could I open up a word.new? And it worked, right? And so Google has slides.new, sheets.new, and I believe it works the same in all the Microsoft tools, PowerPoint.new, Excel.new. I believe it should work the same in all of them.
Yeah, PowerPoint.new worked. Yeah. There we go. That's actually really cool. So one more thing here that I want to show really quick, Joe, because I know we're going way over on our quick time, especially with the issues that I was having there. Along here, we see this editing right here. And if I click this down, I'm able to edit, review, or just view. So it's the same kind of things there. But unlike Google, I have this open in desktop app. So if I'm using office.com at, anywhere around the world, and then I get back home to my home computer and I want to use the full application, I would just click on there, and then it would actually launch the full version on the program.
Excellent.
So
and that is fantastic. That's good to know.
Yeah, so that's really the last thing that I was going to look at sharing here this time with this. And again, my apologies, but as I told my students in the classroom, I go, you know what? Sometimes tech just has hiccups, and you just got to roll with it and, problem solve. Don't give up. Don't just, hang up like we could have done and just restarted. Let's just roll with it and troubleshoot and go.
No, I absolutely love what happened. Right? You're like, why do you love what happened? I love what happened because it happens every day in the classroom. It happens every day when you have a student, who has to work from home. It happened during the pandemic, or it's happening during the pandemic where people have to work from home. I can't open my document. My document's spinning. It's not working. And knowing, you go, well, what browser are you using? Safari? Can you do it in Chrome? Try it in Chrome. That's a new fix that teachers can now easily recommend to students, to parents, to help alleviate that stress, right? Because what we don't want people to do is to try and do something like this in the classroom, and it doesn't work. And like, well, see, this is why I don't even use it. And then don't use it again. Finding errors or finding mistakes or finding things that aren't working, but finding the fix so that you can then give that fix out to your fellow staff members and everybody else. That is key. And so I absolutely love that it happened, because people watching like, you see, that happens to me all the time. Now you go, well, you're using Safari? Go and use Edge, or go and use Chrome, because that'll help with that fix. Because I do know if you try to use Google stuff on Safari, you run into the exact same issues.
Which makes perfect sense. And, while that was happening, yes, I was getting frustrated. But then as I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, this is a good problem. Because normally it's not something that, I'll be honest, I deal with very well when I'm recording something, but to be able to model as I would do in the classroom, all right, I can see why that's a good thing. So I appreciate you, sticking with it, and then also making point of why it's good that happened, but then also to be able to explain the possible reason why that happened. So that was actually really good and informative for me as well, because even though I knew that information, I did not actually apply it to that being the issue. So that actually turned out really good.
No, it did. And everybody watching right now, you're probably going, well, he didn't show this in Google Docs. He didn't show this in Microsoft Word. He didn't show. We know. Right. We're trying to show some of the most common questions or common features that you're going to use from one to the other. But if we did miss something in the comments, in the YouTube comments, in the Facebook comments, in the Twitter comments, write down what we've missed. And we will have an episode later on called What We Missed, the Shift, What We Missed. And we'll go through some extra features on all the different things that people are saying, you missed this or you missed that. We definitely want to do that for you. But first and foremost, we want to show the most common things that teachers are using, what they're asking for, or what they're like, I have no idea how to do this in Google, or I have no idea how to do this in Microsoft because of the buttons. We want to show those similarities because we know frustration happens. We know shift happens, right? So just get in there and just make the shift as easy as possible by pressing buttons. All right. So tell us what we missed. Tell us what we need to do next. And I love Tyler's idea of saying, hey, you do this in Google. I want to see you do it in Microsoft or vice versa. We'll have special hack episodes with those as well. So Tyler, thank you as always for coming to us from the swamp in the amazing state of Idaho, from the innovation capital, Sherman Gators. And thank you for showing us the ways of Microsoft. And I will always come back with the ways of Google, and hopefully that you understand the ways of the shift. And as always, may the shift be with you. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week. And we'll come back to you next week, as always, moving into the slide deck software or presentation software, or whatever you want to talk about. That's what we're going to come at you next on the next episode of The Shift. Have yourselves a wonderful